Right.
It's live now?
Good. Yeah, it's in line. So
You
now,
sure?
Wow, we had another start like last time. Is it live?
Is it live?
it's
That's
live now.
exciting. I'm glad we know it's live.
With your game, Orcs versus Chaos, or Demons, or whatever you play with.
Wow, you feel right now. Hi, my
Alright,
name's
so
Ray.
we played a big game. Yes, that's right.
Oh, wait, what happened?
Continue your introduction.
Oh, never mind. Okay. So, tell me.
Let Ray talk! Shh.
So now,
Wow, we had another start like last time. Is it live? Why are you watching a playback version? This is gonna be the worst video ever.
Yeah, it is. They're going to be like, they haven't even talked about the game yet.
Okay, so me and Ray played a game of Age of Sigmar.
Yes.
I've played I think like 3 or 4 games now, but this was a big game with with 75 models on both sides.
Mm-hmm. The forces were Orcs versus Daemons. I was the Daemon player.
so what do you bring to these Demons, right?
My Daemon force was 1 Kairos the Fate Weaver, 2 Daemon Prince who was unmarked, Skull Taker, Karnak the 3-headed dog, 20 Exalted Flamers, 45 Bloodletters, and 2 Skull Cannons.
45 letters?
45.
Yeah, 45.
Good lord.
I had something like 40 Black Orcs, so 2 squads of 20. Grimgore, an Orc war boss with a banner. Wurzag, the Great Prophet. 2 Mangler Squigs. 4 squads of 3 Trolls. A Giant. And 2 Doom Divers. So we both had exactly 75 models.
Mm-hmm.
So we were just testing out a model limit, I guess. But I won't get into that yet. But basically, the game was, in my opinion, it was fairly close. With bringing the 75 models, it was fairly close. The only thing that was like crazy was these Exalted Flamers, because they had 4 wounds each, and they had 6 shots each that hit on 4s, wound on 3s, and become D3 damage, so D3 wounds. So it was like, with you had 40 of them?
Yeah, I had 2 squads of 20.
Okay, no, never mind. I did that wrong. 2 squads of 10, right? Was it 20?
No, it was 2 squads of 10. Yeah, it was 10.
Now I'm confused. Okay, so 20. So it was 120 shots, potentially, each turn, that hit on 4s, wound on 3s, that did D3 damage. And once those things started shooting, like I almost want to say I was winning until they started shooting. Because once they started shooting, it was squad, gone, everything.
Like, they are the perfect example. Like, they are the fantasy version of 40k Flamers. Like, because so many hits it produce, it's just like, if you run anything less than 10, that unit is completely gone.
I think that they were much worse than anything I've faced in 40k or anything even faced in fantasy, based on the stats, based on no shooting modifiers and the fact that you can shoot in combat. Basically, when it was your turn, you would shoot me 6 times, and then you would attack me 4 more times in close combat with that unit. They'd have 10 attacks each. What is that?
Because that is fair, right?
I mean, it's not. We brought these models, like you said, you didn't even look at their stat lines. We brought them blind, and it's just, to me, it just further proves that it's gonna be a while before we can set up any sort of balanced games, because we don't even know what half the stuff does, and when we put it on the table, there's gonna be these things that are just way too good. I mean, a Chaos Lord, like I've said before, you do Chaos Lords with the whole summoning squads of any size. I mean, this is ridiculous. How do you assign a value to that? Just bringing a squad of any size to the game.
But the thing is,
value.
But the thing is that you pointed out, for like a summoning army like Daemon's, is if you take out the summoner, the army will start to crumble. Like how you were going for Kairos, and then the dog, if he's within 8 inches of his quarry, just like how you said with the Warriors of Chaos, he could summon a whole bunch of bloodhounds where there's no cap.
You can only take out the summoner, though, if the other person lets you. You didn't have to move Kairos towards the middle of the board. You could have had him hidden in the back. on the back
I'm not a
line, and I would.
douchebag like that.
I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying you could have kept him hidden. So they're not balanced. The only way they're balanced is if the player intentionally makes it where their enemy can kill it, which is like a game where you have to intentionally go in trying to lose, which is not good. That's not good game design.
I agree. Maybe now
You can play. I mean, I think you can have fun with Age of Sigmar. I still believe that you can have fun with anything, but it shouldn't be a chore to do so. I mean, maybe we're missing something. I think we definitely need some sort of way to balance games, though, because we can't just take. I can't just say, "Hey, I'm going to take this. You're going to take that." It's not going to work. I don't think like that. We have to form some sort of rules on what you can take. I mean, there's people talking about like, oh, you can take 0 to 2 monsters, 0 to 2 characters, or that was some GW leak or something about how to form armies that were balanced, supposedly. But I mean, even that stuff doesn't work because some armies just aren't equal to others because of the way they work. I mean, my orcs don't summon anything, so they're never going to be as good as a summoning army that can add to their ranks.
Well, aside from that, what are your thoughts on HC when now that you play it? Because this was your first game, you should tell us what you think about it.
People have pointed out with the 4-page rule with the sudden death, everybody's like, oh, you have to have less models beforehand to get it. To me, I think that's just shenanigans. You should be able to do it while in game, because if it's before setup, then glorious victory and minor victory, you have to declare that in the setup phase as well. Then you gotta be like, oh, I'm going for the glorious victory. Oh, I didn't accomplish it, so I failed. So I'm gonna go for the minor. And like, who was it? Josh that pointed it out. Kill one model and be like, hey guys, I gotta go to work, so I win.
Yeah, but they're saying that you have to establish victories at the beginning.
Yeah, which I think sudden death should just happen in game. Like if you are getting curve stomp or hurting, then sudden death should happen during the game. Once you hit that 1/3 of your enemy force, you get it. Well, not get it, but have to accomplish one of the 4 choices.
It could maybe work that way, but even then, even then, it doesn't balance the game because people can bring anything they want to bring.
Which is fine. I mean, like
it's not fine. Like I can bring an army that's going to table someone turn 1, and they're not going to be able to do sudden death. It's not hard to build a broken list in the game.
More concept thing.
I mean, we've already built like countless broken lists in our minds. The only way to play is to play to try to like hamper yourself on purpose just to balance the game.
Yeah, but you see, these broken lists, it sounds good in like mine, but have we tried it on the table?
Well, we can try it if you really want to. I'm just saying.
We try on the table. I could go, okay, you brought 100. Now guess what? I'm at 1/3. I'm going for the sudden death.
Okay.
I'm gonna go for that sudden death victory.
I'm not saying you can't beat the list. I'm just saying there's lists. I don't even have the models to do so. Just like other people have pointed out, well, who has these models to even do these broken lists? And I agree. You can't just say I'm going to bring this stuff. I'm just saying the game itself is broken right now without having any sort of rules on how to build forces. You need something. I disagree with you if you think you need nothing, because there's got to be something. I mean, even when we played, you said, "Hey, Tim, bring 75 models." You put a limit on me. You made up a rule to bring 75 models. So you even yourself wanted a limit. So subconsciously, I guess you want a rule there. I mean, do you disagree or agree that you want something there for how we build our armies?
Not with limitations on like just monsters. There should only be 2 on the table. No, not like that.
Okay, but then why don't you want that? Because then why would I? Let me rephrase this. Why would I take goblins? Because I play orcs and goblins. Like in the game I played against you, I just brought a bunch of black orcs.
Yeah.
because I knew a regular orc in my mind isn't as good as a bloodletter. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Doesn't really matter at this point. But the point is, I brought the more elite army. If I would have brought goblins, you know how fast I would have gotten tabled?
And I told you could use the sudden death, so then that one goblin could have ran across the
My goblins wouldn't have got. They wouldn't have got there. They wouldn't have gotten sudden death. It's not. You don't. Sudden death ray. You have to get to if you're talking about the table one, the scenery one. You have to be alive on turn 4 to get that with your goblins. I wouldn't have been alive.
What's that movement? If it's faster than mine, then yeah.
No, because it's turn 5. It's turn 5. I have to live to turn 5.
No,
just because I can get to your turn 4. So, but the point is, I'm saying I have to live to that turn. So, I have to get across the table. Sure, maybe with my movement I can do that. But
and also, you don't need to
by that terrain and live.
Like, what's the cap on goblins? Does it say you have to take at least 10, like some of the units from
goblins?
Some forces.
I'm fairly sure you have to take 10. I'll look.
10 or 20. Like
goblins. You have to take 10 or more. Yes.
Okay, so then the setup will be.
Let's just say we both have 75 models. I'm taking Night Goblin list. What would I do?
You would take 10 because those will be your sudden death achievers of scenery and.
I can't do sudden death at the beginning.
Well, not sudden death in the beginning, but if you could plan out your force. All right, this will be this. Now I need someone to like help protect them, kind of like football with alignment. You need a unit to protect them.
I'm talking about a goblin army. How is 75 models of goblins going to survive on the table against what you brought with the Exalted Flamers just alone? Those shooting alone. How would my Night Goblins look?
Okay, yeah, I did not expect the shooting to be like that. You can't hold that against.
I can if you're saying there shouldn't be any rules on how you build an army, because what you're saying is basically your Flamer, Exalted Flamers, equal to my Night Goblin. That's not a fair way to look at it, in my opinion. I don't see how you can disagree with that. How is your monster equal to my Night Goblin? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, there should be something.
But why are we still doing this comparing goblins to like anything?
Because we have
options to pick anything else.
Because we have to, because you're telling me basically don't bring my Night Goblins because they suck.
No, you could bring your Night Goblins, but use them to achieve something.
How am I going to achieve anything if you're always just going to bring monsters? And it's like you're expecting me to somehow pull some sort of underdog heroic.
Now, why is it monsters if demons are all monsters? You just told
me you wanted to bring. Your example was I should be able to bring my monsters or whatever you just said.
Yeah, because I want to build my dream Beastman army, which is like 5 Gorgons, 3 Cygors, 2 Giants.
And that's great, but then shouldn't we factor in how strong that stuff is so that when I build my list to fight that list,
it's now
an adequate list that can actually handle beating it?
Now, why would
that?
The what?
Don't you agree that if you bring your dream list, I should bring a list that has an equal chance of victory against it?
I hope you'll be able to bring a dream list of a fluff army that's equivalent to it.
Well, is your army a fluff army?
Yes.
Okay, well, what's a fluff army? I mean, that's...
It requires one...
Pretend my list is a fluff army, your list is a fluff army.
Yes.
Then do you not agree that my list should be built to have an equal chance to win?
I'm sure if I was to study...
I'm just asking you. I'm asking you if... I'm not saying that it isn't a list that's equal. I'm asking you, should it be? Should 2 people, when they play this game, build 2 lists that are equal to each other? Or equal as in they have an equal chance of winning?
Yeah.
Then that requires, in my mind, rules on how to do that. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Is that shouldn't there be something there to say what is equal? That's all I'm getting at. I don't care if you want to use a monster army and you think that's cool. I applaud that. That's great. I want you to be able to use what you like. And I'm just saying I want to be able to play a game where we both have a chance to win.
Yeah.
And I feel like points or something is necessary for that.
At least the ability to choose, okay, I need to bring this, or you can take this many units. It doesn't have to be points, but it can be you need to take from this type of units.
Well, I mean, Ray's fear is that if we start saying, oh, you can only take 0 to 2 monsters, is now he can't take the amount of monsters that he was planning on taking. Like, Ray doesn't want to be limited like that, which I can see his point, but I'm just saying at the same time, we have to have something. If not that, I mean, at least points. Because how do I know how many Night Goblins is equal to your monsters, or how do I know what I'm supposed to take?
You counter monster to monster, infantry, infantry. It's just like a war game. Like,
I don't think my monster is necessarily equal to your monster. Maybe my monster is way better than yours. Maybe yours is way better than mine. Your infantry certainly is better than a Night Goblin guy.
Are they?
Well, okay, let's compare. Let's compare a Bloodletter. What's a Bloodletter's movement?
I believe it's still 5.
Sure it's the same, yeah. What's his save, though? It's a 5-up, right?
Yeah, it's still 5 up like the ward.
His save's better. His bravery is 10. My bravery's 4 on a goblin. He has, what, 1 attack?
Yep.
That hits on a 4?
Yep.
Wounds on a 3 or 4? Okay, and it does rend 1 or rend nothing?
Rend 1.
Okay, so you have rend. You have hitting on 4s, you have wounding on 3s. My goblin hits on 5s. He wounds on 5s. He has no rend. So how is he equal?
He doesn't have other abilities like banners, nothing like that?
Well, we both have banner abilities.
Yeah, but we established that people have different types of banners.
Well, sure. What does your banner do? And I'll tell you what mine does.
One of them is break test. On a 1, you get d6 more bloodletters. The other one is if I kill a hero, they get a +1 movement.
Okay, so you have one that literally can give you more guys. I have one that gives me more bravery as long as there's no enemy units within 3 inches of me. And the bravery still puts me 4 bravery under your bravery. Gives me 2 bravery, so I'll be at 6. So I'll still have lower stat than you. And then my other one is I can add 1 to save rolls in the shooting phase. In the shooting phase, basically. So instead of a 6-up save, I'll have a 5-up. So I have one that will give me the same save as you, but only against shooting, and one that gives me bravery, and I'll still have less bravery than you. So how is that equal?
Yeah, but don't you get like shields and all that? Then goblins are known for their horde type force, so you don't have rules for a horde type army?
I have a moon shield, which I can, if I have 10 or more guys, I can get a 5-up save. So that gives me then the same save as you. But I'm saying even with all of these special rules, the goblin unit of goblins, 20 goblins, is not better than 20 bloodletters. 20 bloodletters is better. So how is that fair? They're not equal. I don't think they should be equal. Why should they be equal? Night Goblin's a pathetic little creature. A Bloodletter's a freaking demon. Shouldn't a Bloodletter be better than a Night Goblin?
No. They just want to die. They're suicidal bastards.
Well, jokes aside, I think a Bloodletter is meant to be better than Night Goblin. I'm not saying that that's bad. I'm just saying they're not equal. They're inherently not supposed to be equal. But it can't be just, hey, I'm taking 10 Night Goblins, you're taking 10 Bloodletters. That's not going to be a fun game. I'm just going to get stomped. In that game against you, I still lost pretty badly with all the shooting going on, and I brought a total, like, elite Orc Goblin list. I brought all Black Orcs. They have 2 wounds of pop.
Yeah, but you brought me down to, like, 5 models, and if it wasn't for the summon,
I brought you down to just Exalted Flamers, because those things alone can't really be killed.
No, hold on.
I agree with you that my Black Orc is way better than your Bloodletter, but that's because he has 2 wounds. He has better stats. So, an infantry model, I'm just proving that proves it alone. My Black Orc's better than your Bloodletter, therefore 2 infantry models are not equal. And your Exalted Flamer's better than my Black Orc. That's also an infantry unit. They're not equal. There's things that aren't equal. So there's got to be rules on how to create equal lists.
Now that would then that logic would just break it down to it being a competitive game.
It doesn't have to be competitive because it doesn't. Having points doesn't make something competitive.
You can't have 8 defeated to a situation is what this is.
No, because
you play a game to have fun, or you play a game for it to be competitive.
No, I want to have fun, but it's not fun to get curb stomped because our forces aren't equal.
You didn't get curb stomped.
I didn't say that game. I said that game went down pretty. I said at the beginning of the video that game went down. We pretty much both had a chance to win.
Yeah.
That was fine. But my point here is that ultimately in this game we need something there to build balanced forces. Because that game is just one example. I had to bring all elites. If I would have brought in all 75 models worth of Night Goblins, like I'm saying, I would have lost. Way worse.
Well, you wouldn't bring 75. You would have actually took a War Boss or Goblin Boss and go, hey, let me try this Goblin thing.
I'm not saying literally 75 Night Goblins. I'm saying a Goblin force, so Goblin stuff. Mangler Squigs would have still been in there, but it would have lost way worse than the Black Orcs because my Goblins are not equal to my Black Orcs, stat-wise. They would have lost. So the point is there has to be something in place. And I don't think that's unreasonable to say.
Okay.
But anyways, we should move on.
Yes, moving on.
What do you think just of the rules themselves, the 4 pages? Just the basic construction of the game?
There does need like some little tweaks in it. But I think it is people are just overthinking it of something simple.
What do you mean?
Like it could be, it's like a puzzle that people would just like stand there and be like, we haven't solved this for over 100 years. We did everything to it, when one person could go, it's simple, guys. You could just do this. Push this button. Boom. Done.
And the answer is 43.
Yeah, you see? Bam.
Interesting.
It's just like, how long this game been around? Like over 30 years?
20. 1989 it came out, I think.
No, I thought it was 84.
No. It wasn't.
It's irrelevant.
It's over 20 years. Let's go with that.
Sure.
People are so used to rank and file. People are used to points. People are used to stat lines and who's better, what's crap not to buy, and what's crap that is good to buy.
Yeah, but I know what you're getting at. You're getting at, like, there was always something that's better than something else, so there was never reason to take certain things in your book. And now that there's no points, you can take anything you want.
Yeah.
You could have still taken anything you want back in the day, and you could have still played for fun back in the day with lists that weren't meant to be competitive. You could have done that.
Yeah, but in the world that we live in, no one wants to do that. There's like
I would have played that
3%. Yeah, but I mean, like, we're like the 3% of people who will like to do stuff and have fun, while the other 97 are just like.
Wouldn't it have been better? Wouldn't it have been better though? Is it if they just took all the bad units and actually made them worth their points instead of just saying, "Hey, that doesn't matter"? Because there's still no reason for me to take a goblin over an orc. There's still, I know you like you said, oh well, then you're not trying to play for fun. It's the same thing as with the points before. You could have taken a competitive list to play competitively, or you could have taken a fun list. It's the same thing in Age of Sigmar. I can take my Archaon War Council, my joke list, where I summon 6 squads of infinite size at the beginning of the game or whatever, because of a bunch of Chaos Lords.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can play for fun, and I can take a list that's fun. You could have did that in the past, and what they should have did was fix the units that weren't good and made them good. How hard would that have been?
Well, they haven't done it for like over 20 years, so when were they going to change it? Never.
They could have did Age of Sigmar could have done the same thing. They could have did these PDFs where they came out with new rules for every army and tried to balance all the armies, rather than just giving up on balance and saying, "Oh, let's just not bother." Wouldn't it have been better to try?
True.
I mean, my thing is this. I think that this is just the basic rules, and that they're actually, I know people say that, oh, these are the rules, this is what's happening, there is no rules after this. I don't believe that. I think there's advanced rules coming. I think that this is the basic framework of the game, and that they're going to be adding things, and that this is just this is the what's the word?
Well, I certainly hope so.
This is like the reboot where you're rebooting, so you're creating a really basic game that's free right now for us to play, and then they'll slowly start adding rules and rules and rules to make it more close to whatever they have planned, but a more advanced game. I think there will be point costs, or potentially not point costs, but like I think there will be army rules on how to build an army. I think all that stuff is coming because of what we've seen. They're invested in this game. I mean, they put the freaking Stormcast Eternal guy in front of the HQ. I mean, I think they have plans, and they want to sell rule books. I certainly don't think the actual game rules are going to be free. I think this is just the basic things free, and when we get the actual rule book, it's going to cost us money.
Yeah, I think so too. Because remember, these free rules just came out a week ago. Actually, just a week ago, we started playing this game. So yeah, I think they're pretty much planning. There's a future for this because they definitely give the word with just taking out Space Marine and going with the Stormcast statue in front of their HQ, saying, "Hey, we're not giving up on Dynasty. We're just gonna change it to Age of Sigmar." And we're going to focus, because right now we know that 40k is selling good, so there is no reason to focus on 40k anymore. We're going to focus on Age of Sigmar, and we're going to make it a good game, a game that sells again, to make it our image again. So I think there's plan for Age of Sigmar to be better than what Warhammer Fantasy was before. At the very least, I certainly hope so. I still believe in GW.
No, you don't. It was the way you said it. No, you don't.
I mean, I believe that they're gonna try to make this work, and that they will be adding stuff. I do believe that. The problem is because they're not telling anyone what their plans are, they're making us all mad.
Exactly. They're just making all of us like players that have been playing this game for a very long time. Because now that I think about it, I've been playing this game for like over 10 years. So
exactly. What is it? What benefit is this giving them to make people mad? It's just a bad idea.
I've been playing for a very, very long time. It's making them really, really angry to all the players. So they're trying to bring new people. What they're trying to do right now is having that period where they're gonna start bringing new people, trying to get out new great models so they can attract people, and then they're gonna start investing on the rules.
Oh, and the last thing I would say about the people who say that this is the final rules and that Games Workshop, that these 4 pages are the only rules. I would say that a week before this came out, everyone was reading rumors about the gameplay of Age of Sigmar and just like eating it up, and all those rumors of the gameplay were completely false and just lies. So nobody has a clue of what the future holds for Age of Sigmar. So there's gonna be, I mean, I don't know. I'm one of the people who doesn't know too, so I don't know if there's gonna be new stuff. But I think that there's gonna be advanced rules, and it will be happening probably.
Certainly, the hope is there, at the very least.
But is that enough? Just because they come out, I mean, do they deserve us? Do they deserve players?
That's a very good question. Well,
I mean, they have the best models.
They do. They have very good models. I agree with that. I think that's one of the main things that brought me to this game. Was going to this book convention and finding that little pamphlet with all the crazy models from GW.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna like Ray's gonna play what tomorrow? You said.
Yes, tomorrow game will be High Elves versus Daemons.
Yeah,
if not, it's going to be Wednesday.
We're going to be playing more Age of Sigmar. It's just, like, I'm not giving up on it. I've printed rules. It's not like I'm hating it. I don't hate it. I had fun when we played, just fine. I've had fun playing it sometimes. It's just, there needs to be things happening.
Can I borrow your Empire so I can run them as Bretonnians?
Oh my gosh. Stop suggesting that, Ray. Ray, if you want to play Bretonnians...
I'm going to play Bretonnia because they're the only army that actually does hit on ones.
Bretonnia is amazing.
Bretonia is amazing.
The Empire also hits on ones, man. You just need to run a hurricane.
You see, you got to run a hurricane, and Bretonia is just
no,
ballers.
They don't hit on ones generically.
Shh, you could have tricked David.
You can't because I read the rules.
Screw the rules. I got money.
Interesting.
But nah, yeah. If it's not tomorrow, then yeah, Wednesday is going to be Hyos versus Daemons, and I know he has like Phoenix and Dragons he wants to run.
Are you talking about Rico?
Yep.
Right.
Are you going to play with Rico tomorrow?
Yeah, if he texts me back soon or telling me what's up.
I mean, what do you think, Ray? Do you think there's going to be new advanced rules down the line to expand on the game, or do you think?
I guess if they want to get like their most player base back, yeah.
Do you want more advanced rules, or do you just want it to be as it is?
I mean, if they do advanced rules to be like free reign, but put point system so people could still agree. Whereas like, all right, we'll play the standard 2,500 points. All units will have their points, but there's no cap to anything. With like, oh, you gotta take core, you gotta take elites.
You don't like that?
Well, the reason they have that is it's like, why take core if you're just gonna take elites?
Exactly.
Like, I mean, if you're, let's say, Ray's Dream Army of Beastmen does not have core in it, or has as little core as possible, well, why then am I, your opponent, going to take core if you're not going to? If you're not going to take your weakest unit, why should I take my weak unit?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like you're forcing other people to take lists that they don't want to take because you're taking an all elite list. If that makes sense.
Like the every high elf player, what was it? Banner of the World Cheese with the White Lions. And
yeah, but I mean,
everybody's
you're kind of doing
possible. Like, yeah,
you're kind of doing the same thing though. By what you're saying is you're going to take these elite lists with your best stuff or whatever.
No, I mean, if you guys are going to
forcing other people to do the same thing.
No, because y'all want something, so point system back for the game. Since everybody's running around with like the head cut off.
I think that's also attracts a lot of people because a lot of players are fairly competitive. I mean, I don't know you, but sometimes I like to win too.
Yeah, you see, bam.
Yeah, but I think that you want to win, right? Don't you?
Sometimes, not all the time.
I'm pretty sure you want.
Well, then why do you need your Gorgon, sir?
Because I want to run my fluff army.
Why is your fluff army only the best units?
Oh yeah, because Gorgon is like the best thing on the table out there.
In Age of Sigmar, he might be. I don't know. Age of Sigmar changed everything. A Gorgon could be amazing now. I don't know.
Gorgon's not amazing.
They hit on threes. They wound on threes. They do 3 damage. Every wound does 3 wounds. That's good.
Yeah, but you gotta remember they will suffer wounds while they get weaker. So.
Okay, well, so will every other monster. I mean, that doesn't mean.
Yeah, then that's fine. They're not the greatest thing.
Back to your model count thing. Your Gorgon is not equal to my Noblar or my Goblin, or my Knight of the Realm.
All right, now you want to be realist. Go against Godzilla. Tell me you win.
I will not win.
Exactly.
It's
use common sense, Tim.
Not everything's equal. That's my point.
Use bloody common sense.
Also, the other thing with the armies is like it's hard to then agree on size of game. Like, you want to use your perfect list. Well, your perfect list then requires me to take a list that's equal to it. That's all I'm trying to get at. Is that if one player has a set list, then everyone has to build a list that's equal to that list, and then every game's that size. It's hard to pick size. It's hard to like say, hey, let's play a small game on the fly and make them equal. Is all I'm trying to get at. And I think that that's a bad thing for the game as on a whole.
All right.
So I really hope they do something about that. I don't even care if there's points. It doesn't have to be points. They just want something to say, hey, this is a small game, this is a medium game, this is a large game. Just something.
Correct.
Just something.
But the other games we were looking at is now King's War 2nd Edition. Their rules are now up on the website. And then we were just now today, we were looking into this War Throne game because it was all in Spanish, but they finally released it in English. And it seems like it has a lot of similarities to Warhammer Fantasy 8th Edition, or just Warhammer Fantasy in general.
Correct.
Like, it's even closer to Warhammer Fantasy than Kings of War is, and definitely closer to Warhammer Fantasy than Age of Sigmar is. It seems like it could be a great game to look at.
I like the models too. The models that they have in that company.
And they have, yeah.
They're very impressive.
They don't have a very big range, but the range is nice.
And everything that I see, yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
I like the dwarves that they have. They look very, very good. The humans that they have, like all the leaders that they have, and the unit of like witch hunters.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
And they have a bunch of different formations. That's
true. They also have different formations, and then different formations gives you special bonuses, things that Warhammer, that Games Workshop didn't do with their fantasy.
Yeah.
Like you can have the two formations that you had in fantasy was basically lug units and skirmisher. Now you have 4 different formations, right? There's like 3.
In War Throne?
Yeah.
There was more than 4, I think. Let me look.
No, there is 3. I think there is 3 for infantry block, and then there is 1 more for skirmishers.
Maybe. Because there was a line formation.
Correct.
There is a ram formation, a square formation, a column formation, a horde and warpack formation, a skirmisher formation, and a mob formation.
Oh, there you go.
So that's like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different formations.
Oh, see, that's
8 different formations because there's also a rectangle, and they all have different rules. For how they work, and they all seem like they all have different aspects of why you would want them or why would you use them and such. There's a reason that they're there.
Exactly.
I mean, we don't know much about the game because we just opened the PDF, but it's just something to look at for just the community as a whole. We have to look at these other games now to fulfill a rank and file game because Age of Sigmar is not a rank and file game.
At least until it comes out of this or adds the advanced rules for Age of Sigmar.
Right, but by the time they add advanced rules, how many people are going to be playing it? Like, I know I'll still probably be around playing Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
But there's a lot of people at our store that aren't going to be playing.
Exactly. So who knows? Maybe there isn't people playing anymore. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. Alright. So what else?
That's about it. The summary, Demon vs. Orks was a big bloodbath. Definitely pleased corn.
Nice.
That's probably true. Probably true.
It is.
Man.
Oh, the Doom Divers, those were actually nice.
Yeah, Doom Divers were good. The Mangler Squigs are a lot better now. Mm-hmm. Everything still, like all the War Scrolls, I still stand by my statement of the War Scrolls being cool. Like, all the units are definitely unique and cool.
Yeah, I think the problem with the War Scrolls is that right now I'm growing up here on a magnificent stash. I can play Dwarves to their full potential and also play Empire.
Yeah.
cool hybrid.
So you're gonna look like an old hermit.
Pretty much.
The other thing though is, are they gonna continue these armies? Like a lot of people are saying they're not gonna continue the basic armies, and that anything now, these are the last updates basically for the armies we play, and that now the Age of Sigmar armies will all be a new aesthetic.
Well, I hope not. But at this point, it doesn't really matter to me because there is other games that have that are pretty interesting and that can be used with GW's models. So I personally don't care if they change the aesthetic or not. Right now, it's important because GW drove me to the point that I'm looking for different games, like my giant units of 40 guys.
Well, we should definitely try out War Throne.
Definitely, that's gonna be in the list.
However, I think tomorrow I'm still gonna go get the Age of Sigmar starter set.
Are you gonna be? Do you work tomorrow though?
I'm off tomorrow.
You're off tomorrow?
Yeah.
You wanna go?
Well, we could talk about that afterwards.
Whatever, Ray. I want the community to know.
The community to know. You want to give me?
I want everyone watching our videos to know that I'm off tomorrow. Hey guys, I'm off tomorrow.
And we go to stores. We're actually people, so we go to stores and we play games.
Yeah, we're human beings.
I said you want the people to know. If you live in the Kissimmee area of Florida, drop by Coliseum of Comics if you're interested to go against us in Age of Sigmar with your own ideas or not.
Exactly. You can tell us your own ideas.
Exactly. They can come face the team.
Wednesdays and Saturdays.
I think we should try out a smaller game of Age of Sigmar though. I want to play a smallish game.
All right. How about 15 models or 20 points?
I don't want to do model based.
I didn't even like the idea. You see?
The model count thing is so stupid. I want to do the way it's whether it's written and we just keep deploying until we feel like we're done, that's also dumb, but at least doesn't limit people, or do it by wounds, because wounds is way better. I mean, I know wounds aren't equal either, because my 1 wound Night Goblin's not equal to your 1 wound Bloodletter, once again, back to that example. So wounds isn't any better, but it's somewhat better than model count, for goodness sakes. Jeez.
How? Because Bloodletters and Goblins are 1 wound each. It's basically...
That's what I just said. It's almost the same thing, but it's not, at least, because then you can't take a million Exalted Flamers because all 4 wounds free. So at least it limits something. I didn't say it was perfect, Ray. That's my whole point, is the game needs something.
Alright.
That was my whole point. Here's a prime example. How do me and David determine what we're going to bring in a game right now? Like, let's say we want to play tomorrow.
Okay, let's do this. Which game was better? Game 1 that you did with David or game 2 that you did with me? Which one was the closest to being...
They were both equal. I got beat in both.
No, don't do that. I'm talking about, like...
I think they were both equal.
They were both equal?
They're both close. I mean, the one with David, it wasn't like I got totally curb stomped, but I basically did. Because once again, it was like something shooting at my army and just, like, killing everything.
So this is the age of shooting, is what you basically call it.
Which is really dumb, because Warhammer Fantasy was never supposed to be about shooting. I don't want to play 40k. I don't want fantasy to be 40k, and that's dumb. Why is that the direction we need to go?
Because people are scared of running into close combat and hitting each other.
And I don't want that from a game.
Exactly. It is silly. They're playing for a kid. That's the reason why I got rid of my Tau.
Yeah, David left his Tau behind.
Yeah, David left his Tau because he's scared of fighting me.
No, you never played. You never brought your 40k and never told me to bring your 40k. I'll play.
I always did. I said come Saturdays and you never show up.
I couldn't go. What are you talking about?
Or we should probably end this and then
yes, we're gonna end it on
the
Alright, guys. Then
Damon's won.
What?
Yeah.
Blood for the blood god.
And my Orks and Goblins are depressed now.
Yeah, are they on a losing streak?
Yeah.
Alright, guys. I'll see you.
Damn.
I'm on a losing streak of Age of Sigmar. I've lost every game.